Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the first day of the Supercharge Your Sustainability Skills Challenge. I'm Virginia Cinquemani. I am the director and founder of Green Gorilla Consultants Ltd. And I'm also the author of Sustainable, which is this one here. This book that I wrote last year, pretty much the day it came out on the 27th of February, so nearly 1 year, How to Find Success as a Sustainability Professional in a Rapidly Changing World. So I decided to launch this challenge to help you guys to focus on soft skills, because sustainability professionals are usually focused on technical skills, spend a lifetime learning about technical skills, but sometimes they fail to communicate that message that they know how to develop in a way. You know your technical stuff, but how do you communicate it to your client? How do you sell it to your client? How do you manage the project so that it's on time and you don't feel overwhelmed? How do you bounce back from setbacks? So this is what we're going to look at this week. I want to keep these live videos every day at 8 o'clock GMT quite short. So I'm going to go straight into the challenge. If you haven't signed up for the challenge, I'm going to put a banner here so that you know where to sign up. This is the link to sign up for the challenge. The reason why you need to sign up, or if you want, of course, is that we're going to have worksheets to work through every day. There will be this recording in there explaining the daily challenge, but also there is a community, so you can chat and network with other people as well. We've got about 50 people signed up so far, which is great. It's the first challenge, so I'm quite pleased with that. And more probably, they're going to just follow these lives every day. So let's crack on with day one of this challenge, which is communication. So let me put that old banner back. And of course, feel free to ask any questions as I'm talking along. So communication, why is it that important? We just said that a minute ago. If you're a technical person and you know your stuff, you have that duty to communicate that message, especially if it's about sustainability, to the rest of the world. Sustainability, I believe everyone in this field want it to become a no-brainer. We want to communicate sustainability correctly so that it becomes mainstream. But until we know how to communicate that message, until we know how to convey it, there is no hope in hell that we're going to do it. So what is the problem there? The problem is that communication is a two-way street, but sometimes we use it in the wrong way. Either we're distracted, so we don't listen, or we are insecure. Insecurity is a big component in bad communication because we tend to talk over other people just because either we think they're not at our level, or actually we feel insecure. So we just fill the gaps with words. But also we have an issue with trying to listen to reply, not to understand. So we always want to be at the center of attention. You know, we all have that problem now and then. But the reason why I'm doing this challenge, especially the first day focused on communication, is that I really want you to focus on it. I want to focus on the elements of communication, and I want to think about it next time you speak to someone, especially a client, or in a situation where you want to be influential with others. So it could be your family as well, you know, it could be your colleagues. So how do we go on about this? We're going to talk about influencing more in details on Wednesday, where we talk about selling. But today we're going to talk about the three main elements of communication, which is listening, speaking, and body language. Of course, these are skills that, you know, it takes a while, you would agree with me, to hone, but again, the focus here is to pay attention. And today I'm going to explain about the actual challenge at the end, but let me introduce a little bit. So listening, why is it important? Well, because think about that. When you're not listened to, so step into the person that is speaking to someone who talks over you. Okay, you don't feel listened to, you don't feel valued, you don't trust that person, you lose trust into that person. So listening is important to communicate to the other person, I'm here for you, you can trust me. So trust is a super, super important benefit of listening to others. So if you want a client to trust you, if you want a client to believe in what you're saying, then you need to listen to them. But also, you, when you talk, you are repeating what you already know. But if you listen, you might learn something new. And that's a quote from the Dalai Lama. How true is that? We want to learn, we want to grow. So listening is important from that reason as well. But also, it increases your competence. You learn more. You understand better of the problem of the other person. You have more chances to spot opportunities and risks as well. So there'll be less misunderstandings. It's super important in that sense to try to listen actively. And what does it mean? A couple of tips there. Ask open-ended questions. Why, what, who, where, when, etc. And listen, truly listen to the answer. Now, I always tell this thing, back in the days when I used to work in a corporate world, there was a very senior director who used to tweet, you know, with his mobile phone every time he was in a meeting or listening to you, even in a one-to-one meeting, which was super, well, first of all, it's rude. And also for me, for example, and my colleagues that were sitting there, we really felt that he wasn't listening to us, and probably wasn't, because multitasking is just a myth. It doesn't exist. So when you listen to someone, pay attention. Eye contact, especially nowadays online, probably is actually less, less easy to get distracted. But truly, truly look at the other person and focus on the other person and limit distractions as much as possible. If your mobile phone is a distraction, just put it aside, focus, okay? So again, very quick overview on all of this. The book contains the whole shenanigan about it. And of course, the courses and the mastermind, we focus a whole month on communication. So this is just a very quick run through. Speaking, second super important element of communication. I tell you a little story. When I started Green Gorilla, I started going around schools to talk to the children about sustainability. I was super enthusiastic. But when I actually arrived there, I realized I had to make a huge effort to make the children understand what I was talking about. My language wasn't geared up for children. Think about that. Try and talk to a 6-year-old, 5-year-old about climate change, about circular economy, without scaring them, by the way. You know, especially climate change is a scary, it can be a scary subject for children. So speaking has to be more about the person that is in front of you and your audience than yourself. You have to entirely tune in with the person you got in front of you, step back, understand what I understand, and then start speaking again. You don't have to be patronizing, but a safe bet is to eliminate all sorts of jargon. And if you have to use jargon, say circular economy, one example, embodied carbon, another example, how do you explain it to them in plain language? How would a 5-year-old understand what you're talking about? So one thing to change there is your mindset. So you're not the wizard protecting your magic spells as a precious treasure. You are there to make sustainability accessible. Okay, fine, you got your technical skills and that's fantastic, but you don't have to show them off. Your role, if you want to progress sustainability, if you are a consultant, if you want your clients to adopt what you're saying, is really to reassuring them that you are in control, that things will be fine. You don't have to scare them off. You need to make an extra effort to explain things in plain language so they trust you. Again, trust comes back again when you speak in plain language. So a few practical tips. Would the people in your life understand what you're talking about? If you're talking about your work, avoid any technical, too long, very scientific sounding words unless you're ready. They're absolutely fundamental and you're ready to explain. Say, for example, interoperability, biomimicry, biophilia, etc., etc. You know what I mean. Acronyms. We get into the habit of using them very naturally when we start becoming an expert in our fields. But CSR, ESG, EMS, you name it, be ready to explain, okay? And try and avoid actually using them in the first place. And then expressions that might make sense in your sector, but not in other sectors, like carbon footprint, an example. Try and use an explanation and then perhaps use the term. What alternative words can you use? How can you explain it in a way that is memorable? Okay. So that's a very, and obviously there is also body language, which is really important to understand the state of mind of the person you got in front of you. But also for your own body language, it communicates something as well. Communication is all about the way we present ourselves, so whether we are standing straight, whether our voice is strong and projects loudly, or whether we are quivering and and being timid as such. So body language is a whole different word that, again, if you join the mastermind, we're going to cover in the first month of the mastermind, the second month actually. So today, just a very quick run through to introduce the challenge, talk about the 3 elements: listening and speaking especially, but also body language. Your challenge today, listen, that's what you were waiting for. Challenge today is on the worksheet. So the worksheet can be found if you signed up to the challenge in the portal where you signed up. And it contains the 5 principles of good communication, which I basically explained this morning. And also, the main challenge is to choose a technical subject you work with often. Example, circular economy, carbon calculation, etc. And think about how would you explain that to a 5-year-old. So what I was mentioning before. Pay particular attention to your use of jargon, the acronyms, the expressions. So spend 5 minutes writing down in the space there. Remember to save it in your drive because it's view only, the worksheet. Think about how would you explain what you work with every day or a complex concept that you deal with in sustainability to a 5-year-old. See what comes out. Then I'll give you an extra challenge if you have time. Today, try listening to understand, not to reply. And then write down how it went. What was different? Did you learn something new? What did you notice? And then if you feel inclined, share that on our community on the portal. Or there is a discussion tab in the subject of today. So first of all, explain a technical subject to a 5-year-old. And second extra challenge, try listening to understand, not to reply, and see what happens. Okay. Do you have any questions for me? And I will be on the portal to answer your questions, to talk to you. I know lots of you have completed the survey as well in the first section of the portal. Telling me what you expect from this. Lots of people want to develop the soft skills, getting people to, and from your listening skills. All right. So I hope that this was useful. Do let me know if you have any questions, either in the comments here below or in the portal again. And yeah, join up. I'll put the banner again so that you know for the next few seconds. Okay, if you haven't signed up, this is the link to sign up to the challenge. And yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing your feedback, your questions, and to hear how you are communicating today. Thank you very much, and I will see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock again here. And otherwise, I will see you in the portal as well to answer your questions. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye.